Alright everyone, here we are with ticker symbol Nndm, Nano Dimensions. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So Nndm stock has been in a slight bearish trajectory. Looks like there's some momentum being built here. We have the points of reference here that I go over in the last previous video that I did. If you guys want to check it out, I will put the link down below and I go into more detail about it. But right now, our support level is 603, which is very important to watch. If that gets broken through, this could hit newer lows. Our 50-day moving average is 641. We're currently below it, which then means that we're in bearish territory. And the bulls need to break through 641 and 654, the highest point before the fall, so that this can pull up deeper into bullish territory. But I go into more detail about it in the previous video that I made. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little insight on what I talked about in that video. And if you don't have time to watch it, at least you kind of know these points of reference right now. So Nano Dimensions had the offering. It fell, came back up. The offering closed out on the 9th, right? And from that point forward, it started to fall. The 9th was on Wednesday. So there's an interesting thing that I saw. I want to share it with all of you guys. It doesn't signify that Nano Dimensions is in direct correlation with the S&P 500 index. I want you guys to be aware of that. But I realized this overall. And if you look at a few different stocks, you might see a indirect correlation or direct correlation. Like if I just pick Apple, you can see that from the 9th it fell. But there's some different volatility here. If I pick Tesla, you can see on the 9th it fell. If you go ahead and pick, let's say, SRNE, you could see that on the 9th it fell and it slightly came back up. We could see here that Workhorse fell even more, right, on the 9th, but it's been kind of in a sideways movement. And then you can see here that Genius fell, obviously, on the 9th, and it's been in some sideways movement. Overall, whether you're in the S&P 500 index or not, there's been some slippage since the 9th, right? What does that even mean for the stock or overall market? So I wanted to kind of enlighten every single investor on the fact that don't get caught up that Nano Dimensions offering ended here and we're slipping a little bit because some profit taking is happening. I want to kind of give a little bit of a defensive and pessimistic side to things right now. And I'm going to share that first. And then we're going to talk about the optimistic, great news, and forward outlook. But I need to share the more heavy stuff first so that you guys as investors can be aware, right? I'm not here to tell you guys to buy, sell, or hold anything, but I do want to align every single investor overall what's going on. And it's starting to look like not just Nano Dimensions is doing this, the overall market is. So let's look at the S&P 500 index. Started to fall since the 9th, right? Here we have Nano Dimensions and a slight pickup. So what is the S&P 500 index showing? So the 9th is here. It fell. Small pickup. For the S&P 500 index, that's a pretty big pickup, but it's small in the terms of how big the size is of this whole entire index and the pricing, right? So here we are with the 9th, and we're seeing that slight fall and the slight pickup. When we look at Nano Dimensions, slight fall, right? Well, pretty big fall and slight pickup. So Nano Dimensions is not in the S&P 500 index. It doesn't get directly, affected by the S&P 500 index. But I do believe to some extent, no matter what stock you are, as long as you're in the U.S. stock exchange, the S&P 500 index has a slight indirect effect to the overall market and any ticker symbol in some shape or form, right? So Nano Dimensions is slipping a little bit, and I do have this whole entire article here, which I was reading over, and there's going to be some uncertainty and rockiness this week. So I kind of want to break it down real quick that the Fed is holding its final policy meeting of the year, December 15th through the 16th. I'm going to do a whole video about this and talking about the different ticker symbols as we see how the S&P 500 index is acting and then also talk about what to look for. Now, one of the things that has allowed the market to hit the all-time highs is the optimistic approach on FDA approval on Pfizer, which I believe they already received that. And then BioNTech is an experimental vaccine for the coronavirus that's already being deployed in the UK. So even things that are happening outside of the US bring some hope and excitement, right? Which that's a really big thing around the world. Another thing too is that they're talking about how the fact that the Federal Reserve is taking US Treasury bonds, right? And instead of buying them in short term, they want to buy in longer dated bonds from shorter dated instruments. Like, that's something that they're basically saying we need to shift our approach right now. This has been working, and it's going to be a big deal that we need to switch over because it might not work anymore. Another thing too, the 10-year Treasury yield note was 0.889, and that's nearly 11 basis points down from the previous Friday of 0.968. So that right there is helping to support an appetite for bonds, pushing prices higher and yields lower. So when bonds are going lower, stock prices are being pushed up higher. When stock prices start to fall, it's because bonds are rising. So right now, bonds are going down, and they're going to have a reversal at some time, and we're going to see it overall in the market, and that's something that we need to be ready for. So this is way apart from Nano Dimensions, but I'm going to bring it back to Nano Dimensions in just a moment. Another thing too is the way that layoffs are surging, from 137,000 to 853,000 in just 7 days, ending December 5th. Last week, I think it was another 700,000, and now they're expecting this week. So there's a lot of things going on right now for this upcoming week, which I want to do a full video on, that we need to watch for as investors and be prepared for. And it's going to drive a little bit of uncertainty overall in the market. So that was a little bit of the bad, heavy news. And I wouldn't call it bad news. I think it's more like news to be aware of and be prepared for. So why is this slowly falling? It could have a little bit to do with the uncertainty. And we're going to have to see how it plays out this next week. Because if it breaks through the $6 mark and down here at that 577 mark, and it starts hitting newer lows, I mean, even if large institutions are buying, you want to play it safe. Or if you're prepared for a long-term hold, it all depends on you. But again, I'm not here to tell you what to buy, what to sell, or what to hold. I'm just here to inform everyone and also give you my perspective of what I'm seeing in the charts and overall market, right? So the good news, this is the exciting news, this is the great news. So here we are with ARK Invest 1210, which was actually Thursday. I did a video recently talking about all these stocks that basically ARK Invest has been getting a larger position in over time, and even talking about how Raven Industries, they started off like about 190 and they're already almost at 400,000. Like, that says a lot. And their position went from a market value of 5 million to 12 million. Very interesting stuff. So here we were with Nano Dimensions on Thursday at 3.82 million. Well, they're still around that area, but it went up. It went up. This is 12/11. That was Friday, and it was updated for me finally, and that is 3.884929. Now, the market value keeps going down because the stock has been going down, but it's really interesting, and it's actually, I guess, to any investor that is long on Nano Dimensions and is a true bull, that this is great news. Nano Dimensions is still seeing opportunity of value. They're still seeing opportunity of growth. And as the market value is going down, they're purchasing more and more. They bought basically, when we look at them, a total amount of 64,000 more shares, almost 65,000. That is great news to know that. That's what I'm watching for. The moment I see ARK Invest sell one Nano Dimension stock, I'm going to really update you guys, and I'm going to be very cautious of it because it might be a restructuring of their whole portfolio, right? They know what they're doing, but if they're long, they shouldn't be selling any. They should be continuing to add on to it. And this isn't the only institution, and what ARK Invest doesn't mean that that's what you should be guided by. But when you see large institutions like ARK Invest actually buying more shares, at least it lets you know that a group of analysts, not just one mind, but several minds, sat there and looked at this chart and said, there's an opportunity here. And you as an investor have to think about, is there an opportunity here? Do I believe in this company's technology? Will this change the world? These are all the things as an investor you want to ask yourself. So when I see ARK Invest getting a larger position as the stock is going down, they didn't get one on Thursday, which I found very interesting, but they finally got one on Friday. They ended the week adding 62,000 more shares, or almost 65,000 more shares, at 64 and some change. That right there speaks in high volumes, as I always say, that ARK Invest sees room for this to continue to go up, right? And they see room for this to continue to rise. Now, we want to watch this closely. That's why I tied in all that information about the market overall. I want every single investor to be aware of the fact that we want to pay close attention to how this week is doing. Be aware of all this information. And if Nano Dimensions breaks through support, we need to watch it closely. And could it break through support because of all this uncertainty overall in the market? Or is it just directly affecting Nano Dimensions and we need to watch what's going on? But if ARK Invest continues to add on to their position, obviously like we see here, 3.82, and then we're here at 3.88, that is going to be interesting. I mean, if this continues to work its way up and hit 4 million plus, and the stock is going down, that tells you that ARK Invest sees value and there's still opportunity for this one to continue to work its way up. There's room. I've seen a lot of different price targets in articles, saying $10, saying $14, $12. We're going to have to see about that. But I really wanted to share with you guys the overall market insight and the direct correlation or indirect correlation to what's going on in the market with Nano Dimensions and overall other stocks. So it's not like it's just Nano Dimensions. And we're going to have to see how Nano Dimensions reacts next week and also leading in towards the end of the year. So that's another important thing. And if Nano Dimensions doesn't decide to do another offering out of the blue, unexpected, like they did, and also leading from a Friday over to a Monday and from Monday to the Wednesday, I mean, that's going to be very interesting as well to watch happen. But we also want to watch how ARK Invest is rebalancing or adding to their portfolio of actually their Nano Dimensions stake, right? So are they adding more to it, or are they going to rebalance it at some point in the near future? Because when you look at this, Nano Dimensions, just from September till now, is a multiple by 6. And back in May is even more, right? That is incredible numbers to think about. And even from these lows here from September, and right now, we have seen Nano Dimensions hit its highs of almost $8, and it's sitting back close to the $6 range. $6 was one of the most toughest points for this stock to break through, for it to end up in that area again and sit there. That's going to be interesting, or break through it down to newer lows, back to what it was doing as it was running up. I mean, we need to watch all these things closely. But the great news is Nano Dimensions got a larger stake on the entire position in ARK Invest portfolio, right? So Nano Dimensions is a larger, an entire stake now that has been taken by ARK Invest of 65,000 shares almost, and we're watching this get added on to ARK Invest portfolio as it's going down. That's what's really interesting to me, which then shows that there's room of value here. There's room for this to work its way up, and this is a very risky play, but it's been holding itself up pretty well. We just want to watch this closely on how it reacts this upcoming week and leading towards the end of the year, not just because of Nano Dimension stock, but the overall market. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative, and it means you well. If you found this video helpful and informative and you're a first-time viewer, I highly encourage you to subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.